it's 2023 going into 2024, and coming up to Christmas, we tend to forget certain people in our society. And even though they've been highlighted a lot over the last year for the good intentions of the Invictus Games, we all know it was ruined by Harry and Meghan being greedy and taking a lot of money that ought to go to the veterans. And it got me thinking, musically, I've never dedicated anything to the veterans out there. So this time I wanted to rectify that, come back to you and give you a wonderful, wonderful song. And out of all of the songs, there's been many versions of this particular song. I can think of Elvis that made it so big, everybody associated this song with Elvis Presley. And at first I thought, oh, I found a Shirley Bassey version and she's doing a cover. So I looked into it a bit more, and this is what I've come up with. First of all, a little bit of bio on today's guest. Welcome Dame Shirley Bassey back to my channel. She was born in Cardiff. She went on to become one of Britain's premier entertainers. And Shirley Bassey has indeed risen from humble beginnings to become the greatest female performer, one of the greatest female performers in the world today. Shirley Veronica Bassey was born as the youngest of 7 children, grew up in Tiger Bay, Cardiff, Wales, and the daughter of a ship's fireman, Henry Bassey, and his wife, Eliza Jane. In '52, Shirley left school to work in a packing department of a sausage factory, all the while singing at local clubs which catered to working men. It wasn't long before Shirley turned professional, and in 1955, I should say, Shirley appeared in the Astor Club in London, and the world began to take notice of her incredible talent. Her first single, which I'm going to react to very soon, Burn My Candle, was her first real hit, and also was Banana Boat Song. Her debut album, Born to Sing the Blues, was released in 1958, and hit after hit soon followed. As with As I Love You and Kiss Me, Honey Honey, Kiss Me, appearing on the record charts simultaneously. Now we all know Shirley for the famous hits Goldfinger, Honey Honey, and lots of Diamonds Are Forever, and lots of other big monster hits that the fans love to hear. But this is one I feel, a Christmas 2023, even though this was a 1962 song released for her and a huge hit for her, I want to say this to all the veterans. Those that have passed, may God always be with you. Those that are missing their loved ones because of war and the sacrifice they made, I send you Irish Shamrock blessings to all over the world, to all veterans. I also want to say thank you, and this is my way of saying thank you, for your sacrifice that has made the world. I'm telling you, I know we have wars before people start arguing, and there's still more veterans coming out of those wars, but their sacrifices have made this world a safe, peaceful, and prosperous world to live in. And I say that from the heart. Thank you for all your sacrifices, to all the men and women, past, present, and in the future that will be, called a veteran. God bless you all. What is the meaning of today's song? It is by Shirley Bassey, the version I've chosen, and it explores the profound feelings of heartbreak, emptiness, despair, following the end of a significant relationship. The lyrics, which I will read out later, convey the raw emotions experienced as they struggle to find purpose and meaning in life after being left by their loved one. Christmas is supposed to be a happy time, but it's a struggle for many to put food on the table these days. Governments throughout the world are now trying to help the populations with benefits and extra money to stimulate the economy, to give back what they have taken in taxes and other things. But the veteran sacrifice is above all things. To sacrifice your life for the love of the country that you live in. It's time we honoured the veterans, even at Christmas time, and that's why I'm doing this. It really, really means a lot to me to do this. When it comes to Shirley Bassey and a little bit of bio about the song, everybody thinks it's an Elvis song, and I'll tell you why now. But What Now My Love is the English title of a popular song, whose origin and original French version, Et Maintenant, which means and now, was written in 1961 by composer Gilbert Bécaud and lyricist Pierre Delano. The reoccurring rhythmic pattern in the background is the bolero, and an 18th century traditional Spanish dance perhaps, best known for Maurice Ravel's reworking in 1928. The English lyrics and the title were written by Carl Sigman, who is an American songwriter. Now, there have been many covers. One that I've mentioned 3 times already was Elvis Presley. And the reason I've mentioned it and people associate this song with him and have not heard other versions is because Elvis Presley performed the song before a live audience of 1 billion people. I wish my channel was going out to 1 billion people. I can dream. But anyway, as part of the satellite show called Aloha from Hawaii, which was beamed to 43 countries via Intelsat, to 1 billion people, everybody. So that's why the association is so strong with Elvis. But Sonny and Cher has done a version. Benny King has done a version. And so has Judy Garland, sang a memorable version excuse me, of What Now My Love on Perry Como's Kraft Music Hall television show in 1966. So I say to all of you, today we're going to honour Dame Shirley Bassey, who always gives every song she has that sprinkle of a magical touch that other people will appreciate. Let's enjoy Dame Shirley Bassey singing What Now My Love for all the veterans, families, relations and friends. Happy Christmas 2023 to you all. And if you're listening to this in 2024, I hope 2024 brings you nothing but prosperity. Thank you, veterans, for your sacrifice.
What now, my love, now that you've left me, how can I live through another day, watching my dreams turn into ashes and my hopes into bits of clay? Once I could see, once I could feel, now I am numb, I've become unreal. I walk the night without a goal, stripped of my heart, my soul. What now, my love? Now that it's over, I feel the world closing in on me. Here come the stars tumbling around me. There's the sky where the sea should be. What now, my love? Now that you're gone, I'd be a fool
60 years in show business, and she does the song so much justice. How beautiful, how beautiful. Thank you, Shirley Bassey. The summary of these lyrics is as follows, and this is my own summary. The opening lines, "What's now my love, now that you've left me, how can I live through another day?" just captures the overwhelming sense of loss and confusion that accompanies a broken heart. And what it is that whomever it is that's suffering the loss is grappling with the harsh reality of their situation and questioning how can they continue, as we saw in the video and the many poignant pictures in the video. How can they continue without their partner? Those imageries dreams up and turns to ashes and hopes and bits of clay symbolize all the shattering of oneself and aspirations and the destructions of an optimistic outlook that has been taken away. A victim of somebody who has died and taken away and sacrificed their life for their country feels stripped of the ability to perceive and engage with the world around them, because even though they inevitably thought at some point, I pray to God, it's just not him or her, my daughter, my son, my cousin, my uncle, whomever it might be to them, there is that possibility of death. Expressed in the lines, once I could see, once I could feel, now I'm numb, I become unreal, is a reality for far too many. You can feel aimless when the news comes to you that a loved one has died, wandering through the night without a sense of direction or intention. And you also you've been stripped of your heart and soul. Those emotions are just stripped of you. That news is devastating, mentally, physically, emotionally. It leaves you void, it leaves you empty. And there's no consolation, there's no way of getting around it. It's like the worst fear, your worst nightmare has occurred. As I said, it happens far too many times. And the profound impact of a breakup, because when you think of separation, when you think of divorce, that's how we think of separations, but losing a loved one is a separation as well. That's also, everybody, a breakup of the emotional, of the love, of the aspirations of the future, of loved ones left behind. And the breakup also, of, as you've seen in the pictures, depicts an emotional well-being of the person when they hear the news. As the song progresses through, and I'm looking at the lyrics, they depict isolation as well, and detachment. And that's what happens, obviously, when you're in shock. You just feel the world's tumbling down, and the absence of the sea and the sky signify, in the lyrics, disorientation and disconnection from the natural world and everything around you, as you become numb, sick, and facing a world and reality without that loved one next to you, supporting you. We take our marriage vows for a reason, everybody, till death us do part. And there's nothing like the veterans' sacrifice, because their death is far too premature in all of the cases, in all of the occurrences that happen when a loved one has sacrificed their life for their country. The repeated question in the song, "What now, my love?" reflects the ongoing struggle to comprehend the new reality. That's basically how I feel. They acknowledge the relationship's over, but they're uncertain about how to move forward. No matter how many people support you, no matter how many good intentions come your way, it's how you emotionally move on. And that's the big question. How in God's name am I going to move on with children, or by myself, or continue, because there's a lot of married couples in the forces, continue doing my duty, knowing the same could happen to me. It's a huge, huge emotional void, everybody, that death brings in all its forms, no matter what the age of the person that's died. We've all experienced it. In the lyrics, it expresses fear. Continuing to live without the love of that loved one is futile. I felt that when my mother died of cancer. And when my father so quickly afterwards had died also of cancer, I felt, wow, how do I move on here? I was so used to going home and the parental advice was there, dinner on the table was there. You know, you're in routines. We are all in routines until that routine is shattered by disease, by war, by separation. And it continues in the lyrics, the fear of continuing to live without that person by your side, as no one would care if they were to live or die, as the lyrics say. Ultimately, the song leaves you with a feeling of resignation and finality. The phrase, "only my last goodbye," implies that sense of acceptance. A farewell to the loved one, being able to get to that point and endure the pain of their loss and get through it. Even amidst the feeling that their existence may no longer hold significance. You do. You think, over time, will I forget? Even in my case, my mum, my dad. Will I forget the laughs? Will I forget? But I've learnt, and I will say this to everybody, you carry your memories of that loved one in your mind, your heart and your soul, in the pit of your stomach, not just in photographs, not just in films on your camera, in your mind. And you can carry them anywhere. And on a bad day, reflect on how they brought you a joy with a smile or a saying or a sulk. But you do find solace somewhere, trust me. It just takes time. Healing is different for everybody. Overall, What Now My Love, it delves into that profoundness of emotional aftermath and the explosion of that breakup, that sudden impact of news that you wish you never wanted to hear, never wished to hear, never thought you would hear. It's the impact of being told they're not coming back. It's about the depths of that heartbreak. The lyrics are about that loss and the struggle to find purpose and the meaning in the wake of losing a loved one. And it's that particular reason that I say to everybody, I hope you don't get the knock on the door or the telephone call, but a lot of people do. To all those who have died in 2023 and before, I thank you for your sacrifices, for your country, for the world to remain peaceful, and for us to live in a world that is spiritually surrounded by the sacrifices you have made. Thank you.